Let me ask you guys something. How many of you guys know a man by the name of Tony Timpa? You ever heard the name? Right now, we are in the middle of America burning down as we are having protests all over the country where people are talking about how horrible black people are being done by the police. George Floyd had someone set on him, on his neck, for 9, some people estimate 10 minutes, leading to his death. But what if I told you there's a case that happened a year prior that's worse than what you're being told by the media, who not only sat on their child for over 9 minutes, who not only had a child begging for their lives, but they mocked the individual before he died, and after finding out he was dead, none of the cops were prosecuted, and they're free till this day, and not one white person rioted over the same exact thing that's happening now. For those who don't know, here's the news story.
No, you're gonna kill me.
I'm not gonna kill you.
You're gonna kill me. Relax, man. Stay down.
This man begged for his life, and just minutes later, he died in handcuffs. That man called police for help in 2016, but at one point, the officers mocked him.
Yeah, the video is all over the internet, and now Dallas police are getting death threats.
This Tony's the only thing we can get. Help me!
In 2016, Tony Timpa called Dallas police for help.
This happened in 2016. The camera footage didn't come out until 2019.
You're gonna kill me.
And this
You're gonna kill me.
was the help he got. Restrained
Tony, back to school.
and mocked until he died.
This was a tragedy. It was needless and avoidable.
From a Dallas parking lot, Timpa dialed 911 and said he was a schizophrenic, was off his meds, and had taken cocaine.
Hey, look, Tony, look at me, bro.
Officers show up, but Timpa is hysterical, already handcuffed by a store security guard. He's then restrained like this for about 14 minutes.
14 minutes, officer has his knee in his back. 14 straight minutes.
And officers can be heard laughing as Timpa's face is buried into the ground. Jeff Henley is representing Timpa's family against the city of Dallas in a federal lawsuit. He says officers knew Timpa was on something and should not have restrained him this long.
From this, radically prone position, Tony is going to suffer asphyxia.
When Timpa does stop breathing, officers continue to crack jokes.
Is he asleep? He's snoring, that's what it was.
But they stop in their tracks when a paramedic.
You hear it again? Listen. Now replace this white man with a black man and tell me what kind of outrage you would have. Listen again what they did.
Officers continue to crack jokes.
Is he asleep? He's snoring, that's what it was.
But they stop in their tracks when a paramedic says the 32-year-old is dead.
All this stuff.
He's dead.
He's what?
He's dead.
Do y'all see how the paramedics, look at the paramedic. The paramedic guy is pissed. Look at him. He's saying, no, he's dead, you fool. While y'all up here playing and joking and think I'm supposed to revive this man, he's dead. You see how the paramedic guy took his glove off like real hard? Like he's dead, you stupid bastard. Watch.
Stop in their tracks when a paramedic says the 32-year-old is dead.
All this stuff. He's what?
He's dead.
A cardiac death due to the effects of cocaine and stress by physical restraint. This body cam footage has never been seen until this week. A judge finally made it public because 3 officers in the video are no longer facing indictments for deadly conduct.
We finally made it public because the 3 officers in the video are not facing indictment.
But those officers are still on the force, and now they're facing death threats. Because of that, the department is telling everyone to ride in twos as the city digests this painful video. In Dallas, I'm Matt Howard.
What you're looking at right now is the face of a mother who has to get in front of the world and talk as the footage of her child is released, and she's watched her child take his last breath. Let's listen.
When you turn on the news, you see this, the Dallas police found a body in this creek or that road and all this stuff. Well, that's what they told me. They found a body. How many people did they tell they found a body? How many other mothers are out there that don't know what happened to their child? How many stories do they tell all the mothers that they found a body, that they were happy and waved to the cops and thanked them? They were in a bar and had a heart attack. What? What are all these things? What? Oh, okay. Well, how many people are there? How many more will there be?
She thanked the people for finding her child. Thanked the people for finding her child. And then a video is sent out, and it shows they killed your child.
The best thing that can happen to my son right now is for these policemen to lose their badge in every jurisdiction in the United States of America and let these other cops that are good, wonderful, decent people do their job because they're there.
You hear that? This woman was still able to say they're bad cops and they're good cops. We need to get rid of the bad ones. She was able to say this. Why is that? Why is that? How is that?
Get the rotten apples out of the barrel. And the same with the paramedics. You watch that. Anybody that stands there and talks and carries on and never does CPR, not even for a second, it's real hard to hear my son.
Doesn't this sound like the white version of George Floyd? The paramedics came, picked this man up, put him on a gurney. Right, don't forget Kelly Thomas, Daniel Shaver, James Boyd, John Gear, all murdered by the police. This exact same thing happened. Except it was white.
Scream, help me, and cry. And they laugh at him, and they torture him, and they kill him, and they have fun doing it, and they keep doing it even when he's not breathing, and then they're still making jokes. Because, see, it was fun for them. They were all in a circle having fun, laughing. They all had fun. It's like, okay, we get this 911 call. This guy needs help. Let's go have fun with him. Let's torture him and kill him. And we won't use a bullet. We'll use our hands. And that's the help my son got. My son helped everyone. Everybody got help from my son. He was so positive. He was so happy. He was full of life. That boy was going places. But they had to have a party on the side of the road with my baby and stuffed him under a park bench and tied him up like an animal and drove his face into the ground. When I went to the morgue, his nose and his mouth were full of grass. How can you breathe grass? You can't. You're face down. It's squishing your nose. You can't even get the air in there. And then waited 10 or so minutes after they said he was dead to start CPR, and the people that did it were the new guys that just got there. It wasn't the paramedics and the police that were there all for an hour. It was the new paramedics, the big guys, asking what happened, and they started CPR because the other guy, he was sitting there talking about putting on gloves.